Bronx, any advice on Ukrainian ladies whose parents don't approve of her getting involved with an American? I met a girl in Ukraine, doesn't want to see me anymore because her parents object. I never met them. Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think that's common. She must be really young. And if she's really young, Santiago, then maybe that's for the better, right? But at the end of the day, that's usually not an issue, to be honest with you. I mean, 99% of parents of daughters in Ukraine will have no problem with a girl being engaged to an American guy if she's mature enough for that. If she's 28, 29, 30, if she's 21, a lot of parents in Ukraine are going to go, look, 10 years from now, that would be one thing, right? I mean, if you hadn't met anybody or you got married and were divorced, you couldn't meet somebody, that would be one thing. You're 21 years old, you're 22 years old. I'm not ready for you to, go halfway around the world with some, I'm just not ready to do that. I want you to stay here and try your luck here. As a parent, as a dad, that's exactly the position that I would have if my 23-year-old daughter came to me and said, good news, Dad, I met a guy from another. I'm like, hell no, you're not doing that. You're too young. Who knows? But I just think that that's rare. I don't think that's common. I think most parents will be happy for their child if the child is mature enough to get married. And if the child is mature enough to move to another country and start life over. I think a lot of parents in Ukraine feel you have to be a certain age to do that. And it's not a given that if you're 18, 19, 20 and you meet a foreign guy, you're ready to get married and move to another country. That may not be the case. But again, most of the couples who are getting married, the women are over the age of 25. Most of the couples in Ukraine who are getting married, the women are 26, 28, 30, 33, etc. That's just how it is. That's how it plays out. And those women are typically mature enough to convince their parents that this is a good idea. Women in their 20s see nothing wrong with local Ukrainian men in their 20s for the most part. Women in their 20s see men who are roughly their age. They haven't really done anything wrong. They're handsome, they're in good shape like we all are in our 20s. And the women just don't look at them and think that there's a problem. Now, by the time the women get closer to 30 and they've had some serious issues with the local men in Ukraine, and again, there are good men in Ukraine all over the place, but there are a lot that are unreliable. And that's the word that women in Ukraine use. They don't say the men here are bad, they just say the men here are unreliable. But by the time they get closer to 30, they're starting to really get it, why they're here, what they're really looking for. It's a big thing to ask somebody to leave her country, her European country. Ukraine is not a third world country, and they're not nearly as poor and desperate as our media and other people in this industry make them out to be. I mean, to be honest with you, they don't have a lot of money always, they don't have a ton of resources, but they're okay. And shockingly, to a lot of us, even though it should not be, they're very proud of their culture. They're very proud of their country. And when you go to Ukraine, you'll see why. It's a very special place. It's hard for the women to give up something that's really known to them and come to America, but they'll do it if it means finding love. But they're not going to do it for somebody who's older than their parents most of the time, because you're not going to be compatible. You're not going to be intimately compatible, and that's the truth. Now, a lot of guys don't like that answer, and that is absolutely fabulous. That's quite all right. Don't listen to it then and go do something else, and good luck with that. But what I would suggest is if you're in your 50s, date women who are in mid-30s and above. If you're in your 60s, you're looking at women in their 40s and above. If you're older than that, then again, women probably mid-40s and above, and I would do that. You can date some of the younger women. That's probably where the breakdown is going to come. What you find is that women where the age gap is just too much, they may like you personally a great deal, and it creates a bit of a conflict for them. Because if they were to speak honestly to you, where the age gap is more than 20 years in Ukraine, the women 99% of the time are not going to be attracted to you. So they like your personality, and they like hanging out with you, and they like practicing their English, and they like going to dinner, and they like having someone to talk to, and they like meeting foreign people. They're just not attracted to you. And that's why they'll go out on dates, they'll hang out. This is where the professional dater thing comes from. And there certainly are women who are professional daters, and sometimes they're women who ask you to buy them things. More often than not, they're just women who are bored, who are okay with spending time with you if you want to spend time with them. They will clearly hear you say you're interested in them romantically. And they'll like you personally a great deal, but they just can't bring themselves to go there with you. And so that's a mistake that a lot of men make. That's where a lot of the negative pub comes all over the internet. And what I will tell guys is just don't do that. Just go and meet somebody with whom you're truly compatible. The women in their 30s and 40s in these countries are stunning, stunning women. There's no compromise there. There really isn't. And that's what you should be doing, my friends. So the average age gap of couples who get married, where the women are Ukrainian and the men are from North America, for example, is probably 12 years, maybe 15 years. There are exceptions, but exceptions are always exceptional, guys.
Are you a single man looking for love? Join men from all over the world as they take a trip and find their future brides. Interested? Learn more at
OdessaWomen.com.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notice bell to get notified every time we add something new.